नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धे भवतु मे सदा वसुदेवं सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं हरि ओम् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं Yes, namaskar. We are into the 14th adhyaya of the Gita. Can someone recollect what is it that we've seen last? So we can form the link and we move ahead. Yes, please. Anybody?
Talking of the three gunas?
Yes, Shashimaji, working of the three gunas. A little bit more
Yes,
something about why are they relevant, or I think Rahulji also asked a good question. Why should we know about them?
because there are guiding stars in plural.
They
They
are?
would help us move forward, learn how to interact, learn how to control ourselves. And it's not just mental, it's through food and a way of life.
So everything. I mean, it's
Everything,
governing us.
literally,
So,
everything,
okay.
starting from breathing to sleeping.
So the way we think, meaning even our, just we say our way of thinking or philosophy can also have a stamp of the gunas, is it?
Absolutely, because it all boils down to who said what, how we think, how we filter things. It's
Okay.
a total thing.
Okay, so it looks like these gunas are now here to stay. Krishna has introduced three gunas, Rajas, Tamas, and Sattva. We might be finding now stamps of these gunas everywhere. Yes, anybody else would like to add something? Yes, sir, Pankaj. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I would like to say on Rahul's question, Rahulji's
Yes,
question,
yes, sir.
why these gunas are important, why they're so relevant.
Yes, sir.
Um, I feel that based on these gunas, the your karmas are affected.
Ha,
That's what I feel. Your karma,
yeah.
and when your karma is affected, karma is the baseline for everything. I mean, based on the karma, you get down or you get evolved or you end up in whatever you do based on karma. So मुझे
Hmm.
ऐसा लगता है, I mean, कि all these three gunas, they directly or indirectly, they contribute towards your karma, to your thinking, and that's
Yeah.
how you end up. That's what I feel.
All right. So I think Rahulji just joined after you said that. Maybe Rahulji can hear it afterwards, the initial part. So yes, they are affecting our karma. Defining what are the sanskaras we are creating. Some of the we say children who are well obedient, children who are well disciplined. They say they have got. We say they have very good sanskaras. Their parents have given good sanskaras. But in yoga sadhana, we have to ultimately go to a place where we are sanskara rahit, beyond the good and the bad, because sometimes we get entangled in various sanskaras where we sometimes get lost in what is the truth. And depending on the guna, I may be praying to the divine. We have heard of Ravana, isn't it? Ravana
Mm.
was a Brahman
Yeah.
Yes.
and an Asura also, isn't it?
Yes.
He was both. And maybe when he is doing the tapasya, we would have seen maybe he's got the great sattva guna rising in him. But despite attaining such great tapobola, what happened to him ultimately? It was
He
Rajas,
was,
isn't it?
yeah,
Absolutely.
destroyed.
Rajas came into him without his knowledge. The one who is supposedly having control over the grahas. Such was his strength that even the grahas could not affect him. Yet this guna, because of again, we can say Kamesha, Krodesha, Rajaguna Samatva. He got that, isn't it? I mean, that was one stamp of Rajas. If he had just learned that that's not required, he didn't have to get angry. He didn't even have to get angry and try to forcibly meet Shiva, isn't it? And lift the Kailash. It is not necessary, but that happens. Rajas guna is like sudden force. So different gunas come into our life experience. They define our moments that we experience. They define sometimes our future also. Sometimes they can erase our past also. And sometimes they can destroy the future. They can make the future also. That is why this three gunas knowledge is important. Yes, Shashiji. Yes, please.
I just want to ask, would you say that no matter how learned Ravana
Yeah,
was,
yeah,
would you say that he ultimately did not have his ego under control because
yeah.
his ego
Yes,
was his downfall?
yes, yes, yes. It was a moment of It was he was allowing his Swabhava to have Rajas nature, too much of it, isn't it?
Hmm.
They say you cannot. It's like a lion. An old lion does not die a very good death, isn't it? In the jungle,
Yeah. Yes.
because the lion is now the force of the lion is gone. The lion's teeth have become weak. The claws are also not so sharp anymore.
Mm.
What hunting
Mm.
is that lion going to do? So
Starved to
it's some.
death.
Yes, yes, it is something like that. Our rajas is also something. So we need to understand what are the gunas that we need, what are the how do we go ahead, and just because rajas has some negative qualities, we don't have to dismiss the entirely rajas also. What is the good in rajas also we should be able to. It's like a wild horse, isn't it? If you don't tame
Mm.
your wild horse, you will fall or that horse will attack you.
Mm.
Instead, if you're able to tame, maybe you can go as far as you can, maybe faster than how much you could run on foot, isn't it? So this
Mm.
is something, there is a state which Krishna talked about. Those ones who have transcended these three gunas, they are able to access something higher and they are able to experience divinity. And that was what Krishna talked about, transcending the three gunas, gunatita. But as Shashiji asked a question about Ravana, that was his downfall. That was his downfall. If he had a little bit of sattva guna, he would have listened to the advice of Vibhishana also, no? In Ramayana, we see the story. So many people would have advised him. His wife also had advice. Everybody had
Yes,
advice.
everybody.
But you see, a Rajasic person cannot listen to anybody. He can make everybody hear what he says.
Because that is
Mm.
Ravana's basic character, I think.
Yes,
I
yes,
think.
yes. The basic
That,
character is again governed by the gunas.
yeah.
Take a, yeah, yeah, absolutely. And we can just take any character in the world, any story, anywhere. You will find one of these three gunas, and you will identify what is the guna and what is the unfolding of that character.
Yeah.
So that is probably why we need to be aware of it. Let us continue. Because Krishna told that there is a state which is beyond the gunas, our Arjuna, ever curious, immediately asks this question: what is that state? Arjuna Uvacha, the 21st shloka, he says, Tairlingais trin gunan etan atito bhavati prabho himacharaha katham chaitans trin gunan ativartate. This is actually very beautiful, the way Arjuna asks questions. He immediately wants lakshanas. He wants some practical applications or practical ways. He says, how do I identify somebody who is triguna? Who has transcended the three gunas? What are his characteristics? What are his traits? Let us
Mm.
see. Arjuna asks, what are the signs that one can see? And what are the actions of that soul free? The triple natures, how does one ascend? O Lord, answers to these questions, please extend. Krishna says, please extend the answers. How does one transcend the three gunas? Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Prakasham cha pravrittim cha mohameva cha pandava na tveshti sapravrittani na nivrittani kankshati. O Arjuna, Sattva's enlightened mode of action, Rajas's work impulsion, and Tamas's delusion. He who neither detests nor shirks away, nor desires these vehicles of nature in any way. It's a continuation of shlokas 22, 23, and all. So these are all qualities or ways of how a person is who has transcended the three gunas. First thing is he's saying the three qualities he just mentions: sattva's mode, enlightened mode of action, the awakened action, a conscious action, that is sattva's trademark. Rajas's work impulsions, the
Mm.
rajasic impulsion of work, wanting to do work, and the delusion of tamas. He who neither detests nor shirks away means somebody who is not getting disgusted or just moving away from something with aversion or nor desiring these vehicles of nature in any way. So what we understand is these are all three gunas are vehicles of nature, vehicles of Prakriti to perform or function. What is the need for a vehicle? Why do we use a vehicle? It is to travel, isn't it? So sattva, rajas, tamas. So maybe sattva might be the most wonderful vehicle. Rajas is not so wonderful vehicle, but it's still one more vehicle, isn't it? Maybe a car, another is a bike, and a third is a cycle. Which one will you choose? Car, bike, and cycle. Anybody?
Well, car is the fastest.
Car is the fastest. But if the road is not going to let a car drive, what will you do then?
Maybe then bicycle, you
Yes,
can just
yes,
pick it up.
isn't it? Isn't it? So each will have its own place. Each will have, we can just recognize that we should not say, oh no, I travel only in car. If car is there, only then I can travel. I hate a bike. I hate two-wheeler. That's not something we can do, isn't it? We should be able to use the way. If we want to move ahead, all three gunas, we should neither have hatred or disgust for any of the gunas, nor get overly attached to any of the three gunas. Sattva, Rajatamas. Just look at them. They're all right. Oh, right. I'm feeling like yawning today. Tamas guna is inside of me and it's increasing. Maybe I'll try to see, okay, why am I yawning? Is it just an illusion or is it my body's reaction? My body's reaction telling me I need to get some rest. If my body needs rest, I should give it, isn't it? I cannot just ignore that. So, just like that, the three gunas Krishna says somebody who neither hates it, because a lot of people have this extra rajasic pride of being sattvic. That's a very interesting thing. I am so pure and I am so sattvic that without their knowledge, they become rajasic, claiming a lot of pride in their own sattvic nature. I do this only. I cannot do. So I remember one person. This person was talking about so much about food and how important it is to be so pure. And while making the food, also you should be this way and that way. Initially, while it looked different. Maybe he is very strict. I thought, all right. But when he spoke words after a while talking about somebody, the language was nothing pious at all. So what has happened here? An excessive attachment about one's own ideas of purity that becomes an undoing for the sattvic person also. So one thing we must understand that we neither get too attached nor do we get disgusted by any of these three gunas. That's the number one first thing that Krishna is telling about going to a state of transcending the three gunas. That is the story of Vyadha Gita also, the Gita of the butcher. The person was so attached that did not think he never thought that yogi never thought that somebody who is engaging in this profession might have knowledge. But it was Narayana taking that form. So one should neither hate nor get too attached. That is part one of the what is a who is a gunatit. Let us see the second one. उदासीन वदासीनो गुणैर्यो न विचाल्यते गुणा वर्तन्त इत्येवं योऽवतिष्ठति नेङ्गते. Yes, somebody was okay. I'll just mute. Yes, please. So, udasina vadasino gunairyo na vichalyate guna vartante ityevam yovatishtati nengate. He who remains firm and witnesses quietly, seated well above the triple modes, nonchalantly, knowing all occurrences to be in sync with nature's way, detached and immobile, he observes the forces play. So, somebody who remains firm and becomes what we call sakshi, he is a witness. And seated well above the triple modes, that person is now dwelling in a state from where he's getting a beautiful view, which is like that of a witness and a observer or a spectator. And he's watching the spectacle from a state which is beyond the three gunas. He's looking at all this sattva also, rajas also, tamas also. And what is he doing looking at it? Understanding that these are also part of nature. This is a game of nature that's playing these forces that are occurring. Knowing all occurrences to be in sync with nature's way, detached and immobile, he observes the forces play. This understanding is very important. If you don't understand or don't observe the forces, you cannot participate. When you play a game, you need to know the rules of the game. If you don't know, it is of no way you can be successful. It is something like that. One simple example I can think of is from my Guruji only. That was way before I joined him. He had a unit in the city, and there mostly women folk only are employed for. We make these Ayurvedic medicines, so we have to follow handmade processes and a lot of things, sorting of herbs and all. Men are not really willing to do all of that. So that was how his factory was functioning. And suddenly, one day, outside of his factory, one drunkard came and started screaming abuses at someone. Turned out that drunkard was the husband of some worker there. And there's one very big disadvantage of Pondicherry being, despite having Sri Aurobindo's ashram, Auroville, everything, there's also very cheap alcohol, and a lot of alcoholics are there ruining their lives with this desire for drinking only. So here he had come into the gate, which was the sacred place of work of Damleji. And my Guruji was a wrestler also. So he thought now is this is too much. He had heard about that particular husband being abusive at home, but he could not intervene because that's a private matter and that individual's personal life. You can't intervene at times. But now that this person has come to the gate, he said, this is enough. Now he has come. Abhi inko prasad dena hai. Now time to go. The language of giving prasad means giving a maybe a hit or something to bring that person back to earth. And he stormed. He just walked in with a force. Damleji just, walked out of the factory to meet that person. Everybody looked at him and they were worried now what is going to happen. He went to the gate, opened the gate, looked at him, and he actually raised his hand and he said, I raised that hand to give a nice hit on one of these points, which are, which will actually make a person these are all vulnerable points. So he knew all of that as well. But he says, I don't know what happened at that particular point. When he raised the hand went for some other reason. But since he was also an observer, he was able to understand. In the last minute, he just put his hand over his head and just shook his hand like this, other hand, and said, don't do this. Though the language was not very clear for him. This one action he did. But this person reacted like he got a big shock only. It was something like some electrical current has flown through him. He staggered and he walked away, and that is all. Now he says, I still don't know what happened, but that was the last moment. At that moment, I felt this is the right action to do. Initially, I got angry because it was a duty. It was what feeling I had. But my anger disappeared in that one moment, and he did that. And after that, the next day, we learned from the wife of that person, who was a staff there. She said, he came and he told, I will never ever come again to this factory. Your Ayya is a very nice person. He's a gentleman. I am very sorry for troubling you. Look at all of that. Maybe somebody who would have, they say, no, लातों के भूत बातों से नहीं मानते. People, that is a general phrase. But look at this, what has happened. Because the observation is there. When you are so silent, when you are observing, we get the direction. He said, I also don't know something. It was like a voice telling me to not do it. Now, voices come from everywhere. In Tamas Guna, people are not having one voice, they hear 100 voices. So, we have to be in that state where we are beyond all of these three. We are able to quietly understand, and that comes in that poise. Without detachment, we cannot understand. But for that, we need to throw our own attachments to different personalities, our attachments to our own ways of existence. In front of the divine, there is nothing. There is nothing in front of the divine, isn't it? When we surrender to the divine, whatever the divine wills has to be done. And to be able to understand the divine will, we have to be an observer. And that is how I can say, if one were to ask me, what is Gunatit? One beautiful example is that example of my Guruji, how maybe Rajas could enter inside and suddenly he saw that this moment something else, higher force can work better, isn't it? There's always a better way, there's always a higher way for everything. Because otherwise you interact Rajas with Rajas, oil and fire. What's going to happen? It will grow. It will become more inflated. So this is something which we see Krishna says seated well above the three modes, knowing all occurrences to be in sync with nature's way, detached and immobile, he observes the forces play. Let's continue. Sama dukha sukha swastha sama loshtasma kanchana tulya priya priyo dhiras tulya nindas tulya nindatma sanstutihi. He who dwells in the self, poised and still, in both joy and sorrow he remains tranquil. Stone, mud, or gold, all as one he treats. Praise or blame, friends and foes alike he greets. So again, somebody who dwells in the self, poised, poised and still. In both joy and sorrow, he remains tranquil. This is something which is very interesting. The same thing we have heard about what is the poise, what was told before in the Gita. But again, for becoming Gunatit, we need to have that poise. We have to remain tranquil even in these both times. Joy and sorrow. Again, since I just gave an example, I'll give one more example of my Guruji only here. He had a manager, one student from the ashram school only, who worked with him for several years. After working for several years, he abruptly decided to quit. And Pondicherry that way earlier was quite a small place. Means not so many people where the people were very well connected. Some senior sadhaks, Kusumben also in the rain, she got an auto and came to meet Damliji just to see how are you, how is everything, because you are. It was like almost the right hand has suddenly left. How is your project going to go ahead? Some elders, one senior sadhak came and asked him, how did you manage, how did you bear this loss? So losing someone who is supposed to take something ahead is always a big shock, isn't it? So the question was asked to him and the answer was so simple. He said, Bhagwan ne bin mange diya or bin bataye le liya. That is all.
Very good.
God gave to me without asking and took away without telling. Nothing was mine. That individual is a free individual. His life ahead he may choose elsewhere. It is his choice, isn't it? But what a level of balance is required to experience this peace, because otherwise we will get emotional, we'll get disturbed, we will even sometimes, the one who has worked so well with us for so long, we start cursing that person. You have left at the most important time for me. Now you will understand what is going to happen. I am so powerful. My curse will make this happen, that happen. So many such dialogues happen. They are all lower tamasic dialogues or rajasic dialogues. Here, this was the approach, and this is the approach which we can keep in life as well. He who dwells in the self, poised and still, in both joy and sorrow, he remains tranquil. Stone, mud, or gold, all as one he treats. Praise or blame, friends and foes alike, he greets. So this poise is so much that you will not be disturbed. Stone, mud, gold, treating all as one. Meaning, it's each has its own value. We saw that earlier also, that stone has its value, gold has its value, mud also has its value, but each has its value in its place, isn't it? Just because some people have lust for gold, they do anything to get it. It will then make them go astray, isn't it? We should understand what is its value. When you are in a desert and you are thirsty, one glass of water is going to be 100 times more valuable than one bar of gold also. And you are very thirsty in the desert. So looking at all of it as one, same praise or blame. This is also very important. The moment somebody praises, it is natural, isn't it, to feel good. How many of us agree it is easier to get detached in praise than in criticism? When you are
Not easy.
in criticism, it's tougher, no, to get detached.
Very. Yes.
Yes, Maji is saying something. Vijay Maji?
Yeah, very difficult to in criticism. It's very difficult.
Yes, yes, isn't it? It is
Yes.
like it's like somebody who has money can practice austerity, but when somebody has nothing, that time the question of austerity does not come at all. It is something like that. So, but both have to be treated with the same oneness only, Krishna says. Today you might be praised for what you have done. Tomorrow, the very factor which is driving you praise, that will be the source of criticism. What will
Yeah,
you do?
some criticisms are there, to make us a better person
Yeah,
also.
yes, sometimes they are there,
Yeah, we
and
have to
we
take it
can
that way. Then it's
we have to search for the silver lining. For example, for me, I used to be very happy with the Gita class, and suddenly one person told me I am doing the biggest sin of my life by conducting the class, and it was from a person who was in a different, was a place where was very respectable place. What will happen to me then if I am very attached to the praise and then to the criticism? If I was just running after the praise, then the criticism would hurt more, isn't it?
take it the same way.
Balance. Yeah, I take it the same way. Maybe that was
Same way.
required. Maybe Krishna
Yes.
has given that from that person. It was required for some reason. I still don't know what that reason is, why that individual spoke that way, but everybody has a right to give their perspectives. And I have to, if I am getting so disturbed because of the perspective, I'm losing my sight or losing sight of my perspective, then it's going to be completely pointless, isn't it? The balance is not there on the inside. So balance is there, you can take ahead. That is all we can say. Praise or blame. We have to be ready to take both. Same thing, friends and foes. Friends and foes also, Krishna says such a person is treating as one. That these are all characteristics of the most ideal Gunatit individual Krishna is talking about. Why he is giving it is maybe we can try. Let us try for a change. For a change, even our foes, let's not at least have some ripples in our hearts when we think of our foes, or if a chance of interaction with some foe comes, let us do it neutrally. Because again, is the foe more powerful than the divine? Is our foe, is any foe more powerful than the divine?
Never.
Never, isn't it? Never. And Krishna has said, Brahman, Sarva Bhutani, Yantra, Rudhani, Maya. Everybody is like puppets in the Maya of Krishna sometimes. We don't realize your foe might actually end up blessing you. Of course, not willingly or consciously, but through the Krishna's will, it might happen. So let us look at them with oneness without the losing of balance. So if we look at it simply, Krishna says, don't have hatred, not for the three gunas also, not for your foes also, and keep that balance in the center. Keep that in your heart center. Let there be a balance. That is one easy way to become Gunatit, and also having what we call a Sakshi Bhava or a witness. Excuse me. Yes, Rahulji, you were adding something.
Yeah, I have a question. This core of samta, which is, Bhagwan has also said this shloka earlier, sama dukhe sukhe same kritva
Dukesho
labha labha.
Digna
So many
Manaha
times, yes,
Sukesho. Yes, sir.
yes. This keeps repeating, which means he wants us to be in samta.
Yes, sir. Yes,
What
sir.
is the one thing which will bring us in samta? Is it that when we start getting less attached to things? Is it what's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
root? What's the root there?
Okay.
What will
Yes.
start bringing us in that state of samta?
It is in the name only, isn't it, sir? One moment, I'll just mute because there's a lot of echo. Yeah. So a wonderful question has been raised by Rahulji about what is it that, because samatha, so many times elsewhere in the Gita, Krishna says samatvam yoga uchyate. Yoga is practicing samatva. Samatva is oneness. If you see, even in Rig Veda, you will see the same word. Anybody knows the last hymn of the Rig Veda? The first one is said to be on Agni. It is on Agni. It is the Sukta Agni Mire Purohitam. Agni is the god invoked. then elsewhere you have Indra, then you have Indra and Agni, then you have Mitra, then you have Varuna, there is Bhaga, Ila, Saraswati, there are so many Devas, Devis, then Vishwe Devas, everything. In so many suktas, so many different rishis according to their styles, they composed so many Vedic hymns. But when you go to the 10th mandala of the Rig Veda and go to the last sukta, you see this concept of samatha there. Sam gachadvam, sam vadadvam, sam vo manasi janatam, deva bhagam tha sarve sanjanan upasate. Means you see, after invoking all the powerful gods, their strengths for increasing their valor, their skill, their knowledge, their might, final prayer of the rishi is, may we agree and may we be in joyous communion. This samatha is the base where ultimately, if we do not see oneness, we will not realize anything. Yoga is oneness, isn't it? Yoga is uniting. And that is why Yogeshwara is a Lord of samatha only. He is the Lord of bringing oneness, bringing union. Union with what? Man and God. That is the highest thing. Raulji, if did this answer anything you asked? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. No, this is
No.
not fully
Okay.
answered. My question is, what is the one thing which will lead to समता? Is it that जब हम ego annihilation होता है तब समता की तरफ आएंगे? Is it कि हम संगा कम करें चीजों के साथ? Everything where we are doing sanga, that is why the oscillations are happening. Where is that root? To be aware of that root. What is that root?
When we do a bheda, no, sir, that is where the samatha is lost, sir. The bhed between the divine's presence. When we decide that in this material, divine is not present, then all items in the material world will make you lose your, you feel this is not right and you reject all of it. Again, the samatha is lost. Here, Krishna is talking about material objects also, clay, gold, stone, if you can see oneness. So, attachment is not required, but the separation of consciousness from the divine, no? If that isn't lost, then we will be having samatha. Means like we without this vibhakti, we will be able to have that oneness, and that oneness is going to allow us to even experience Vasudevam Sarvamiti, oneness of the divine. Divine is present everywhere, universal understanding. The Advaita consciousness will enter into an individual. So probably, sir, the root of attaining samatha is to understand the Advaitic consciousness in everything.
Everything. Okay, okay.
Yes, sir. Fine, sir. Let's continue. So here, praise or blame, friends and foes alike he greets. That is what Krishna said. Yeah, Pankaj, you want to add something? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have a question here. When we say that we treat friends and foes same, keep
Mm.
us somehow.
Yeah,
Now, in some part of the Gita, we have seen already that he's telling Arjun, get up and fight and kill your foes.
as a duty.
Yeah, as a duty, right?
Yeah,
So when duty comes,
yeah.
then you should not see foe
Or friend.
same, right?
Yes.
When it is
Or
call
friend
of
also.
duty,
Even your friend is in call of duty, your friend stands on the other side. There's no standard
right,
SOP for you to make a friend of foe. That line has changed completely.
right. Yeah,
They're all
that's all.
human beings. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
yes, absolutely.
and this is to establish dharma over adharma.
Yes, yes, Maji.
Fighting, yes.
Yeah, right. So let's continue. Krishna goes on. Manapamanayos tulyastulyo mitra ripakshayoho sarvarambha parityagi gunatitaha sa uchyate. So to describe Gunatita, Krishna had to say four shlokas to tell us who exactly is a Gunatita. The last part, to him, honor and insult are just the same. Best example for us is how to be Gunatit. Just think what would Krishna do? What would Krishna do? Krishna has already transcended the gunas. Prince, if you see the charitra of Krishna, you read the stories of how Krishna functioned, you will easily get a simple SOP on how to be Gunatit. Here he says, honor and insult are just the same. Krishna got all the honors and all the insults, isn't it? Even now, he continues to get it, and we still know that it doesn't really make any difference to him. He's treating them as one. It makes no difference. We shared that experience of a participant of she got the darshana. She got the Vishwarupa darshana, the same one who was hurling abuses at Krishna. The same individual got the darshana because the divine is beyond all of this honor and insult. You cannot flatter the divine and get the divine to do things for you, just like you can't anger the divine by just insulting. It is you who are going to create sanskaras, and your path you will change, not the divines. Divine is beyond all of it. Something like that we will also have to become, because otherwise we become very easy targets, isn't it? Righteous people are also very easily triggered. Don't we agree?
Yeah.
People know
Yes.
that, and the best for the immoral person, they know that this person is following moral principles. So the immoral person will not stand by any principle, but will expect you to conform to your logic, and so the individual is trapped. Here, it is important for us to rise beyond insult, rise beyond honors. What is right, needs to be done. We don't have to care if it's going to be honored by the people or it's going to be insulted, because what is the right thing, what is the duty, that is important. And to understand it, we'll have to keep that poise inside. No attachments, no personal desires specifically for receiving certain things. All personal agendas aside, divine's agenda is your agenda. If you can function that way, you can probably become Gunatit. The faction of foes and friends, another zero-sum game. This zero-sum game, anybody is aware of this? What is a zero-sum game? In economics also we have that. Anyone knows this zero-sum game?
No.
No, does
Okay.
it mean not keeping tabs on?
Uh, it means like you break even, at least you must have heard, isn't it? What's break
Yeah.
even?
Break even, we know.
Break
Yeah,
even means
because
equal.
you say
Equal.
you've invested X
Profit and
amount,
loss
and
equal.
yeah, you're getting the same. So you've not gained anything or lost anything.
Cost
A
and
zero sum game is also something like that. One side I lose something, well, another side that equal value of the loss is gained by me. Basically, I'm back to the same place. That is how an individual looks at when you lose somebody. You're understanding that, all right, the universe has taken somebody away from me. It's all right, somebody else is waiting and going to come and join when the universe decides. It is a zero sum game. I am not going to get so disturbed. Otherwise, people get very, very disturbed. I lost a friend. Sometimes people lose 5 years, 6 years in that sorrow only, as if their entire life is gone. Because why did this person go? I don't understand what happened. Never understanding that this is all part of nature. But not this Gunatit yogi. This Gunatit one is able to see, right, friends and foes. Okay, I made one wonderful friend today, but I also am making another enemy by making this friend. It's all right. What is it? I have no personal agenda. I'm going to work for the divine. Let me just go ahead on that path without worrying. We have to be that way. In all his works done, his desire for initiating has ended. Meaning he is doing new works, he's doing everything, but it's not driven by him or her. The divine is the driver for such an individual. Sarvarambha parityagi. How is the divine a driver for any work? Anybody? How do we identify the divine as a driver? Does it even happen, or it's just a wishful thinking and hallucination? How do we understand?
I
Can the
guess
divine?
if one believes, first of
Okay.
all, you have to believe that whatever is happening is the divine's will. And if you accept
But
it as such,
believing sometimes is very difficult, or sometimes believing can put us in delusion also without really knowing, isn't it?
well, if one prays and says thy will be done, then you can't question it. You have to have that attitude as well.
Okay, all right. Okay, Shashiji. Yes, Majid. That's fair enough. Yes, Rahulji wants to add something, or is it Anjali ji? Anybody?
Yeah, I mean, when one is dissolved, the ego is completely dissolved. That is the time when you can say that, you become a true instrument of the divine.
Okay, so when your ego
Okay, so
is
when your
dissolved.
ego is dissolved.
Okay, so because many times individual ego only is functioning, and then God wants me to eat chocolates. This is what I keep telling my wife. She doesn't believe me because she says, no, he does not want, it is your want. Here it is the individual ego and desire that's functioning, isn't it? But then
Correct.
when I'm prevented and suddenly from nowhere somebody comes and gives it, I can smile and say, hey, I didn't do this. It has come. It has
God's
come from the
will.
Come,
devil.
it has come from the devil.
Yes.
Yeah, so it is something, Sarva Rambha Parityagi. It is something which is the individual has stopped initiating out of any personal desires, any action. And yet that individual is the busiest because that person is more receptive and God finds such people as instruments. So a lot of actions begin. But beginning is not done by the divine. And there's a secret for performing brilliant action, secret for successful organizations also. When the divine is the origin, that is going to allow the work to go ahead. It will go on because divine drives it. Yes, Shashiji. Yes, please.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Gautamji just said what he said, and he used the word when the ego dissolves. What
Yeah.
I want to ask is, does the ego come under control or it totally dissolves?
No, it is something which is
I
we
thought
are.
it's always something that one
No,
has a
we
good
have to
control.
aspire. No, we have to aspire. We have to aspire to go to that state where it becomes more and more rarefied. But it is
Yeah.
there. It is there inside every one of us.
Eh,
At moments, it keeps coming in front. We are all made of it. We cannot. Nobody can declare I am free of it, or it has completely dissolved. Also, that will be. It is not really very possible humanly. And most of the time, when somebody does declare I have no ego, it's very funny to hear the next statement of that
Yeah.
individual. I remember one person, I have no ego, so I am the right person to be the chief guest. That was, I still never forget this dialogue. Their individual had come because somebody had asked, and I had a personal connection there, and so I knew why that individual has come. But the same individual came to me and started explaining how the individual felt. It was because of that inner egolessness only, and how that person is right. And continuously, I am the best, I am the right person, I am the chosen one. Nobody else could be better than me. What is all of it? Well, that is the human nature, Maji. So we cannot really completely guarantee it's going to get dissolved, but we can try, can aspire, keep our personal. Yes,
Yeah.
Pankaj, you
Sorry,
add something, and then
one
come
more
back to you.
question.
Yeah, I'll just come to Pankaj and then to you, Majid.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So there is a saying that tofa and tarif sabko achhi lagti hai.
Hmm.
So in this one, we are saying that apman, that particularly
Yeah.
that apman thing, we need to learn to handle it.
Yes, yes,
We need to be,
yes,
some
sir.
in that.
Yes, sir.
Now, honestly, it is very, very difficult. Like you can probably, tolerate that apman for one time, two time, three time, four time, five time. But let's say it keeps repeating.
Yeah.
Like earlier, also I
Yes, sir.
brought up this conversation in our Gita class that
Yes, sir.
Sri Krishna ji himself was insulted in Duryodhan Sabha
Yes.
for 108 times. And
Yes.
that's when he came out with Sudarshan and he cut the head of
Hmm.
that demon.
Okay.
I think Jarasandh or Shishupal, one of them.
Okay.
Yeah,
Tishupala.
Shishupal. So that's one incident where he could not tolerate Apman. I mean, he could tolerate for a certain period of time. And then after that, there could be a story, behind that, why this is done, what is that. Second incident was when he came finally to ask 5 villages for Pandavas.
Hmm.
And that's where, Duryodhan said it's not acceptable and arrest him.
Yeah.
And that's when he shows his Virat Roop, right?
Yeah.
So these two incidences, I want to understand that how long you can tolerate that Apman thing. Somebody is like, there and he is out there to just disgrace you. So one
Yeah.
time, 2 times, 3 times, 10 times, you can probably control your emotions and
But what
be still.
happens by that disgrace is important, sir. Rather than the number of times that individual is disgrace is like insulting you more than, because what is the net consequence? Insults are on the outer level, sir. Whatever he's doing, it is on. But what is it leading to in your action, and how is it affecting you? If, like they say, swadharmo nidhanam shreya paradharmo bhayavaha. Meaning, if it is coming against your dharma, if it is coming against your personal, we can say, your duty, if it is impending, I mean, it's heeding your duty, even you will have to understand the best way to work forward is. Yes, yes, but it is there. But there is no need to keep a count of number of times. Maybe the divine is able to keep count for some. When we look at the story, we understand the reason. He was more conscious. Sometimes we can maybe give a longer rope, but there are times we should not. So that is why we should not be attached to anything. It's not even the sattvic mode of action only, or Rajas's force. We're not either. We are looking at these as vehicles. I can take out my bike when I want to. I can take out my cycle when I want to go for improving my lung capacity and do some a little good physical exercise. That day I'll take my cycle. I have it with me, meaning I have all three with me. And for me, one of the interesting things was I got a very good praise from my Guruji for shouting at somebody. And that was the first time in my life. And I thought I'm going to get scoldings because a particular technician had come and he had to work for too long and he messed up all the wires and he was saying, I need one more day now. And he's already taken that day's work. And I got very annoyed and I understood he was cheating. And I was just waiting for a point to get clearly, means confident that this person is not going to help me, is going to mess up more. And he's just going to draw money from me without doing work. When I did that, it was the one and only time in life that I've ever said anybody, you are asked to get out of this place right now. You get up, you go out right now. I don't want you touching another wire here. And then I did it because at that time I thought it was required. And then I got very scared because what will my Guruji tell me? So I just called him and I said, I said this. And he said, go get a chocolate. I'm very happy with what you have done because this was not in your nature at all. Sometimes you have to learn to raise your voice. You have to learn to raise your voice when something wrong. Are you going to let your resources be exploited by somebody just because you are too good? I don't need good people. I need right people. And maybe I don't care if they are not good mannered. Maybe your language is not right. It's all right. What is the spirit? What is the spirit of what they say, bhava, no? So that is the thing, sir. Maybe
Yeah.
sometimes some people otherwise take advantage of our nature and insults. We should be very careful. And well, one beautiful thing comes when insult. When sometimes by circumstance we get hit, it's like you fall face down. You don't know how to get up, and then you somehow find the strength which you don't know you ever had. So that's why it's sometimes it's better. The more insults you get, the more grounded you are going to be. Very less likely that you are going to get ahankar in the head. And look at insult as Krishna's giving only. I used to say I have Mahapopat Yog in my Patrika. So whenever something wrong would happen, it's like Krishna is doing this. All right. Acha, you want to travel me more? Okay, fine. It's all right. It's your wish. It's your wish. But I think as Pankaji also raised the point, a line must be drawn. But to draw that line, it should not be done in a mode of rajas. We have to understand it. Yes, Shashimali, your question, please.
Yes, I just wanted to know that would you say that ego has a positive side too? Because it's
Yeah,
not all bad.
yeah,
So would you tell
yeah.
us what's the positive side of an ego?
Yeah, if you say little children, you see, when your little children are growing, no? Hey, big big boys don't cry or big girls don't cry. You tell that to a 8-year-old, 10-year-old child. Child will immediately, okay, I'm not going to cry now. Enough. I'm big. I am not a child. That feeling comes in, isn't it? And that allows a child to at least temporarily forget the small problems, no? So ego, Sri Aurobindo has also told, ego is a helper. Remember who you are. It's all right. But after a while, it's not required. After a while, it's not required. It becomes
Okay.
a burden. It becomes a burden later on.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Let's continue. So, to him, honor and insult are just the same. The factions of foes and friends, another zero-sum game. In all his work actions, his desire for initiating has ended. Mortal nature, such a being, is said to have transcended. Next comes the beautiful shloka on the secret, easy way and simple way to become Gunatit. Krishna always gives a difficult game and then gives a cheat code to make it easy. Look at this shloka. It is very simple here when he says this. He says, Mam cha yogya vicharena bhakti yogena sevate sa gunans samatitaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. He who loves and yearns for me with his heart, he whose devotion for me has no end or start, nature's triple modes, he can easily breach, and the supreme state he is ready to reach. Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. Brahma Gyan also will come to that God lover. That God lover who is yearning, aspiring for the divine from the bottom of the heart. That love is so beautiful. That is why Mother of Sri Aurobindo Ashram says, love is a singular human emotion that has the power for catalyzing our evolution. It can make our evolution go super very fast. And that has to be love, which is the love directed towards the divine. Every other love has some kind of, you can say, impurities inside because of attachments and expectations and all of that. So as we learn to love better, we start evolving. And when we are able to love the divine, when we are able to love the divine, in our heart, our devotion is as vast as the divine. When we see that Virat Rupa also of Krishna and say, ah, is your Virat Rupa wider than the love I have for you? I don't think so. Krishna will laugh, all his heads from the Virat Rupa will also laugh and in agreement because that is the power of love. There is a nice one poet and one Marathi poet had also made the same thing. It is Kamodini Kaya Zane Parimala. It is like, what does the lotus know of its own beauty? Ask the Brahma to tell you. The Brahma will describe it better. It is like that. What does God know about? God also doesn't know how beautiful God is. Only the Bhakta can understand the real love of what it is to love the divine. It is like that, isn't it? That aspect of love that can allow an individual to rise and grow to that higher status. Such a person, Krishna says, who is loving the divine without a single personal aspiration, personal, what we can say, attachment, personal want, that individual is ready to reach the highest state and he is easily able to breach the three gunas. Why does he breach the three gunas of Prakriti? Krishna goes on into the very next shloka to explain. He says here, Brahmano hi pratisthaham amritasya vyavasayasya cha shashvatasya cha dharmasya sukhasya ekantikasya cha. Because, well, you are loving whom? You are loving the creator of all the gunas only, isn't it? The supreme divine from whom all these gunas originated. He says, because I am the eternal foundation, the imperishable and immortal Lord of creation, the timeless code of man, I verily uphold. I am the highest bliss that a mortal can behold. So we learned about the gunas. We got introduced to the three gunas. We got introduced to the state which is said to be beyond the three gunas, which we call the state of Gunatita. And then Krishna tells us very simply, how can one become Gunatita? It is just by loving, truly loving, purely offering everything to the divine. Because the divine is the originator of all the three gunas also. He is the transcender and he is the highest bliss that can be understood. So with love, we can become divine. Can we not conclude this? If we can love truly, if we can practice divine love, we will become divine. We will become divine. And that is probably what we can see as a secret in this particular adhyaya, where Krishna has easily said that with this love, you'll easily don't have to worry about which gunas, which state. I don't care. Krishna is going to ask me to shout. I will shout. I'll shout exactly 4 words because Krishna told me to shout 4 words. 5th word will not come out because I want to add a little bit of my own. Or Krishna says, listen now. It's all right. You are going to listen. Biggest fool. You are the biggest fool. Yes, I am the biggest fool. Thank you. What next can I do? Krishna has told me to listen. So this love for the divine will allow us to become more receptive. And sometimes it is those moments we have to grab the moments. And to grab that moment, we need to be calm on the inside. And if we can do that, probably, I think the puzzle of the gunas will not trouble us anymore, or we won't be puzzled anymore. So with this, this adhyaya is complete. We go to the 15th adhyaya of the Gita. We are closing to the last adhyaya, which is the 18th chapter of the Gita. Going closer to that. So I think with this, let us conclude. If somebody wants to ask or share something, you are welcome. Or if you can just share some takeaways for today, we'll look at them and conclude. Yes, please. Anybody? If you can share some point, some takeaway for today, which we can take with us. Yes, please.
I think this concluding line is the best takeaway. That the love
What
for
is
the
it?
divine, the love for
Mhm.
the divine will allow us to become more receptive.
Yes, yes, yes. Let us practice that divine love. Then we will watch our life become divine, maybe become divine too. Yes, yes. All right, Ji. Thank you. Anybody else would like to add something?
And
Vijumaji?
yeah, Krishna is telling Arjuna that these gunas are the vehicles of nature.
Yeah.
And to move ahead, we need all these gunas.
Yes, yes. We can't get
Don't hate it.
attached.
Yeah, don't hate it or long for them.
Yes, yes, yes.
Don't get attached or disgusted.
Yes, yes, yes. Absolutely. Yes,
Yeah,
Raj.
that is the way we have to go forward.
Yes. People can have different tastes, isn't it? Why do we have to get disgusted by somebody's taste if it's not like
Yeah.
ours? We can
Yeah.
remain quiet. Yes, we can remain balanced. Quiet is up to an individual. I think, okay, with this, we can conclude unless somebody wants to add something. All right, let's conclude with the Shanti Mantra. Hari Om. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kasyit dukkha bhag bhavet. Hari Om Tat Sat. Krishnam Vande Jagadguru. Punarmilama. Hari Om.
Hari Om
Hari Om.
Sushmiti.
Namaste Ji.
Hari Om, Shri Ji.
Hari Om.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ji. Hari Om.
Hari
Hari
Om.
Om. Thank you, Ji. Hari Om.